think exactly what it turned into is what Chelsea had lost, because we was in a precarious moment in the league where things were inconsistent. I think it was like 6th or something, which is ridiculous. We had a meeting one time and I think AVB went, what's changed? What's different? And my thoughts was, and my feeling of the whole dressing room and the club at that time was, it just didn't feel like the Chelsea that I was brought up in, where we didn't think about losing. You would look around and you're so confident that everyone is the best in their position, and you get so much power from that, and the ethos was winning and winning and winning. I just felt like we'd lost that. We're going into games thinking about, oh, hopefully we can win. It'd be great if there was like a lot more transparency in terms of players sitting down with other players and saying, hey, I'm Gary Neville, I've got these hotels and stuff. This is what I chose to do on my journey. This worked for me, this didn't work for me. I would suggest this, I would suggest that, and now I've got an income of X that's provided me this much cash flow from them investments. That would be a great conversation to have.
Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a pleasure to make happen in person. It's great to have you in the studio.
A pleasure to be here. I've been a big fan for a while now of the both of yous, and pleasure to be here.
As are we, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyone watching the video here,
Yeah,
anyone
biased,
not watching the video, come and check out the shirts that we're wearing. Harry's actually doing his closest attempt, if you can actually see the shorts, of going full John Terry, just without the socks and the shin pads. But we all know you, of course, through the professional playing career that you've had. And tell us a little bit about how you've made that transition from football, just to start with, into the business world.
I was inspired by business by my mum when I was young. I think she used to work in Morgan Stanley in Canary Wharf. And I was just inspired by, all these buildings, going there and just thinking, what is inside these amazing buildings? And that kind of sparked my intrigue into the business world and seeing her work ethic. And I kind of took that with me throughout my career. So whether we'd travel on the bus or anything, I like to relearn and read a lot and try and anticipate what I would love to do post-career. And that led me in good stead for the transition.
Was that unusual?
It's hard to be like, I'm this maverick person. I always think ahead and they all don't. And no, it's nothing like that. But I think the truth is, that is quite unusual.
Can I ask, do you remember your first professional contract?
Yeah, I do.
How much was that for?
It's a shambles.
Go on.
No, it was great at the time. Well, I was at Gillingham before, right? So I was thinking, I was just content there. I was going to sign a scholarship there. I think it was £35 a week, £45 a week. And I was thinking, that's all right, Peugeot 106, I'll be good, we'll get this, and content. Then I went to Chelsea, and the first contract ended up being £500 a week, which was great.
How old are you?
I was 17. That's at 17. Fast forward now, I feel like one of them old pros that moan about the new pros with the money, but it's happening in such a short time span. The inflation now is crazy in terms of first pro contracts and stuff.
If you were getting that contract now, what would it be?
I was acquired, right, from Gillingham to Chelsea. So generally, if you're doing that, you're in one of the top tiers within the group. So if you look at a top professional contract for a 17-year-old at an elite club in England, probably start from anything from 7 to 15k a week. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. So from 500.
Yeah, you got fucked.
Yeah.
You got fucked.
That would have been done. Yeah, would have been done. So going back to give context to the 500, 500 was kind of like the band of the top ones. There were some Portuguese guys that if you got brought in from abroad, they were probably at like 850 to 1k. But generally, I think the English boys that were at the top end of the pay scale were like £500. So yeah, that was. Do
you remember one though where you were like, wow, I'm making a lot of money? Yeah,
I think more so when I was going on loans. So for example, we had I think me and Jack Cork were some of the first players to go on loan to kind of, start to actually farm these talents out. And we had incentives where it was like, I don't know, 10 games was 10k, 15 games 15k, 20 games was 20k, all the way up to like 50 games and 50k. So
you're like putting additional games in the calendar, aren't you?
So I'm loving it. Bring the Club World Cup. And but basically we actually got great traction when we went on loan, and we just killed them bonuses, and they quickly got removed after that. So that was
the club
was
Chelsea
nice.
put those bonuses in.
Yeah.
So why did you choose Chelsea? Out of interest, you'd look at a club at a time where there wasn't necessarily a well-trodden pathway for young players to get into that first team.
To be honest, I think I used to just love playing football. So I'll be out with my friends on a Friday night, wake up, play for Gillingham on a Saturday, go out with my friends again. Very, very normal. Far from, for good or bad, the over pressures that the young players tend to come with now. I just done it for fun. I didn't really care. I was at Gillingham. I was going to play for them, get a contract. Hopefully, I'll get a scholarship for them. And then I went to Chelsea. And then I thought, okay, I might have to start to apply myself a bit here now.
But Chelsea approached Gillingham.
Yeah, so they approached Gillingham, and we're not like they approached them. That was nice enough for me. I was amazed by the project, and I just joined. It wasn't a case of, okay, well, if they want me, who else wants me? I don't really like to put myself in people's places.
Amazed by the project. Who was doing the negotiating with you? Did someone come and talk to you from the club, map out how they saw your involvement even at that age?
Yeah, I think it was through Neil Bath. He was kind of spearheading it a lot. And yeah, they kind of brought me in, said they kind of saw me as a left back. I was playing kind of left wing, centre midfielder up front, in and around for Gillingham. And yeah, they explained left back, and that was fine.
So you're playing up front, and then they're like, we want to play you at left back. But then when you understood the tactics and stuff, and it was fine because you can attack, so it was good.
So when you start making more money at Chelsea, is there any infrastructure around you at that point? It's like, hey, you should do this with your money. Is there any education around it?
No, I would say no. I think that's what I'm very passionate about in my post-career, is helping people through, how can I speed up their choices in life and make half the mistakes that I made. And in terms of that financial support, there's not much really. It's traditional. You go to a bank, but there's no real education on credit scores, like deep education, or what is a mortgage, how is that structured, how do you invest in a business, how do you start a business, what is the difference between venture, private equity, what is a hedge fund. There's nothing, and yet you're on 15k a week and you don't know nothing. Do
you think the players want it? Because I think there's an amazing opportunity for someone to come in once a month. Let me pitch this. I think all footballers at Premier League clubs should put a week of salary a year into a venture fund. And then once a month, we come and tell you these are all the cool businesses you invested in, and teach a little bit about what makes a great business. 100%,
especially
But would the players want it?
I think so. I think the information is a lot more common now. I think it's being quite more thematic of everyone's learning and seeing what people are doing, which is great. I think once you can grab a player at the ages of like 16 to 18 is when you've really got them in that incubation zone. I think a lot more can be done in that moment. And I think in terms of learning the financial side of the game, 100%, that'd be a very viable thing to do.
But let's be honest, right? If you had said to most people, this is a side that you need to get to understand a little bit better, would you want to do it? Most wouldn't really probably have a very good answer for you. They're just thinking about, some other things that average 16 to 18-year-olds are doing.
I think if you say, hey, look at Uber, look at Deliveroo, look at Candy Crush, we're going to take an hour a month out to tell you about cool shit that you invest in and love and play with on tech. I think it's much more fun than, hey, we're going to talk about your pension.
Oh, no, wait, but no one's doing that either.
Yeah. Right. Nobody's doing the full scale. It's like the boring stuff and the kind of cool, sexier stuff. But unfortunately, they have no education. So when they get flashed a proposed amazing project that's going to make them £1 million tomorrow, they go for it and then they fail because the guy isn't serious. And
but that's the problem around the representation,
yes,
right?
Indeed.
And we talk about it quite a lot. It's the misalignment of incentivization when it comes down to representation. A lot of the representation of footballers are incentivized on short-term deals, generally commercial, and that's how money is generated for both player and agent. This is a very different proposition. It's a long-term cycle. It's harder to find an incentive structure that fits an agent. Yep. So we need to kind of find a new...
Yeah, it needs to be... You need to kind of penetrate them, whether it's through the Premier League, the PFA, or something. There should be more initiatives aligned with them aside from football clubs.
When you're in a changing room, what is player attitudes to agents? Is it like, a skepticism of like, I hope they're not ripping me off? Is it like they're my bros and they make me money? What's that attitude?
Yeah, I think from the players' side, I think it's an alignment, and they generally appreciate the agents. There's a lot more value that goes into guiding a young athlete than what is probably seen by the parents, so to speak. I fully understand how parents want to manage their sons' careers, but there's so many other intangible things that are going to come your way, whether you like it or not, that perhaps it's better for someone else to have a conversation about with your son, or give them some guidance on some things that they just won't listen to you about. And yeah, there's a lot more value and leverage you can have by having an agent.
When you broke through into that Chelsea team, you also had people in the dressing room that are revered for their leadership and successes. If you're having Terry, Lampard, Cech, Drogba, Ashley Coles, etc., are you learning anything from them around how to manage your life away from the pitch?
I think you're absorbing how to be on and off the pitch, not necessarily how to invest or monetize your outcomes and your incomes for the better. That's kind of a grey area, and it'd be great if there was like a lot more transparency in terms of players sitting down with other players and saying, "Hey, I'm Gary Neville. I've got these hotels and stuff. This is what I chose to do on my journey at this stage and this stage. This worked for me. This didn't work for me. I would suggest this. I would suggest that. And now I've got an income of X that's provided me this much cash flow from them investments." That would be a great conversation to have.
Who was a culture carrier who doesn't maybe have the spotlight on them?
It's hard because they all carried it in a certain way. But one that resonated kind of with me is probably, it was good for us, probably Joe Cole and Ashley Cole. Ash probably a bit more because he's a bit more prominent, but yeah, them two guys are really, really good guys. Really, really good guys.
And that's in popularity, it's in respect, it's in
professionalism. They were proper guys, really good guys.
It's interesting because that's why the squad's so important. I spoke to a few of the guys, and he was saying it was Bettinelli and Tosin this season.
Yes, you get.
And he was just like those two. And Bettinelli has never played a game, and won't now because he's gone to City. He never played a professional game for Chelsea. He was the third choice keeper. Yeah,
but the same thing was like Ross Turnbull was there.
Exactly.
He was like the guy everyone just, he was cool.
Everyone liked Ross Turnbull?
Yeah, everyone loved him, yeah. What a gig. That third choice keeper was great.
Scott Carson's been at City for 4 years.
Is it not a bad gig, or is it just deeply shit? I know that sounds bad. I think if you get £25,000 a week, if you
get to the stage where if you get it in the twilight years of your career, it must be a great gig. But it can't really be if you're like in your
Like if you're a Mark Schwarzer, it's a great gig.
It's a great gig.
Yeah, you're playing with great players, beautiful facilities, great managers.
Especially if you can be local, especially if you can hook Chelsea or Fulham or something. If you're used to living around them areas.
But that was, all jokes aside, that was Scott Carson at Man City.
Yeah.
The guy's won 3 or 4 Premier Leagues, Champions League, 2 FA Cups. I think he played 1 professional game for City.
Genius.
And he's at the back end of his career. So he's just, he's there in case he's needed. Has to be the best gig.
Yeah, it has to be.
So when you started making bigger money at Chelsea, did you start investing that? And were you the only one to do that? How did you approach that?
I kind of chose to invest quite more simply, just traditional stuff through the bank, just optimize my money and preserve it. And then I kind of backed myself. And then that's where I would invest in my own companies. For example, our fintech business at the start that we had, rolling all the way into other endeavors that set me up for the future. I would rather invest in my own companies and learn that way.
Give some context on fintech business. You're setting up a company while you're still playing, and it's in an area very, very different.
Yeah, completely different. Yeah, it's kind of all around us. Like going back to the Morgan Stanley thing. Once I found out what was in them businesses, in them buildings, kind of the financial hubs, kind of trading was kind of a step that was quite popular amongst my friendship group. It was actually the start of the get rich quick schemes that you see everywhere over the Instagram right now. You see people selling the golden blueprint to finances, but if they had the golden blueprint, why would they give it away? It's funny.
The guy outside the jet.
Someone,
I'm a trader and I work 1 hour a month to make $1 million.
Take my things for £20. No, it's not gonna. If you've got the gold, you're gonna keep the gold, right? So that's for everyone else. But we decided to instead of to learn trading, we saw 90% or plus retail traders lose. So we decided to come to playing field. So we actually took a guy from Goldman who was well versed on machine learning and built an algorithm that people could trade very, very easy. It was like a version 1 machine learning algorithm. So you could say, trade this at this time. If this happens and that happens, then I want this trade to happen. It was a very good model. And we learned so much in terms of structuring the company, raising the funds, building a pitch deck. My business partner in the agency today, Louis, traveled to China. He's going around there traveling with the guys. And we just learned so much. We end up exiting to a Malaysian firm because it was very restrictive. We needed a lot of capital and just wasn't our lane, our market. And the returns wasn't great, but it was more what we learned in the process. And I think what we learned was if we was going to be involved in a business that we didn't quite know front to back, we'd rather be an investor. You can't lead that business. You have to have respect for the founders because it's really 2 feet in, or 2 feet, 2 arms into a business. You can't just have a business and be like, yeah, it's going to do that. You need to know it inside out, live and breathe it, and put your whole life into it.
You were still playing when you had this as well, right?
Yeah, I was still playing, yeah.
Was that Southampton?
No, that was Chelsea days. That was
still Chelsea,
yeah.
So you were quite young?
Yeah, we was... What was it, about 24? So it was towards the end. So I was Chelsea and then Aston Villa and then I was transitioning.
And you weren't worried about losing focus?
No, not at all. I just loved it. I'd do my training, do my extras, and then after training onwards, I'd be on a train, come into London, be at Finance Magnates. It's probably a clip somewhere you can find talking about what we're trying to achieve. And but the main thing that I would love, and that comes back down to educating people about investing and different types of investments, is because our next door neighbours, believe it or not, was Revolut. And I would love to put 50k with them if I'd have known more about investing. Because then they started to just completely take the whole floor. And a 50k investment in them back then would have been nice returns.
Would have been a great outcome.
This spare time in football's come up a few times with the players because it's the gaming time that others have referred to it as. Mm-hmm. You train for actually a relatively short period of time and how long your day can be productive for.
Yeah.
And those 3, 4, 5 hours after 2 p.m. can be utilized in many different ways. Mm. Were you always keen to kind of do something productive in that? Because that's the thing that I think, if we're looking at bite-sized chunks of making this more accessible to players, it's saying from 3 until 5, use that time to do something that is building a career for yourself away from the game or finding an interest in something other than sport.
Yeah, I think that can be structured very well. I think you could actually give them a window or provide them with parameters to explore in them times until they find something that they actually, feel actually this could have legs for me, to be honest.
I think it should be provided by the club though.
Yeah, there should be a window where they bring in experts.
That's my point, which is like, you can sitting there. Yeah, you can choose what you choose to do. PE, venture, credit, real estate.
6 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
This people are in, sit down, learn, network. It would bring that element of discipline for sure, because now you've got, you've got family, you've got structure and stuff. So that probably does bear some benefits for sure. But I don't know. Yeah, for me, it was... not a thing. I think that flexibility, I actually loved that flexibility because what it done for me was, and I think more so in a modern day game, you need that flexibility because you want to get to the top, but the road to the top isn't as smooth, straightforward. So if you need to go to Bournemouth for 6 months, then to Oldham for a year, then to Norwich for 2 years, and then back to Chelsea for 6 months, then to Reading, I loved it.
You loved the loan moves?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Why?
Because I felt like I was a real professional. I felt like, when you're developing at Chelsea, for me it was, look, I don't want to just be incubated at Chelsea and then it doesn't work one day and then I go find a club. I wanted everybody to know who I was. And I felt by doing that, by going on loan and playing 25, 50, 75, 100 games, I'd establish myself away from Chelsea and people know me. So I have that option. And it's not like, okay, we'll see what he's like just because he's from Chelsea, because some people fall down that trail of they've never played a game. But if that manager in the league is fighting for his life, he needs to be able to trust you more than anything. You might have the skills, but can he trust you?
Don't laugh. When you're doing like loan moves as a youngster, is it like a glamorous life? Or are you like staying in Premier Inns ad hoc? And
Yeah, like Premier Inns. It depends. The older you get, the more prestige play you get obviously you get looked after. But yeah, it's like just hotels, any hotels in the middle of Oldham. But I loved it, you know. You go there, you have your independence, you got your routine, you're turning up, you got your games on the Saturdays. There's nothing better.
Your goal obviously was always to make it properly at Chelsea, right? You were doing those loans to go, right, come back and play regularly. Were the managers giving you that confidence when you were being sent out on loan?
Chelsea was, they would keep in touch. I think Neil Bath would keep in touch more so.
And Neil Bath, sorry, just for context, he was the academy manager, right?
Academy director, very top man. Set the whole culture and everything. Really, really good guy. Really, really good guy. So basically, they would keep in touch a lot. Chelsea had a lot of managers change over. I think that was the blueprint. A lot of managers change over. So every time we come back to pre-season, it was kind of like starting back at square one. And the most pivotal point was, I think I was at Nottingham Forest, and a great club. Had a great time there. And January come, and Billy Davis was the manager, and he pulled me into the office. It's like, Ryan, are you staying? What's going on? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we're trying to buy you this window. They're saying everything's done, but we're just waiting for you. I said to him, sorry, I have no idea about any of this. Like, nobody's spoken to me about anything. Okay, so let me come back to you. It was on a Friday, like we got a game the next day and stuff. I was like, just let me come back to you. So leave training, go through a few things over the next week, and then made the decision where, this what happens in clubs is directors come in, directors change. Directors bring players, they want their players to play. So when they bring their players in, they try and push their player. Because if they're going to spend £2 million on this player, but they've only spent 200 grand on you from Gillingham, then he's going to push this £2 million player because he's next on the line. That's just the reality of what you have to understand. Unless you excel so much, but he's going to give his player the element of doubt. I'm not going to name the man or the player. I was in competition. It was another left back at the time. And I remember coming and I thought, I'm going to go back to Chelsea. So I cancelled the loan at Nottingham Forest. Went back to Chelsea. I was training and then the other left back was there. And I was training with the first team as well. And I remember doing a warm-up, and I was doing a warm-up, and I looked over, there was this director, that left back, another player with the manager, Ancelotti at the time. And they're all laughing at the side of the pitch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm over here doing the warm-up, trying to give the best account of myself. But one of my kind of competitions is just over there with the director laughing and joking with the manager. So I was thinking, what chance are you, like, this is a bit off balance. But I took it as this is the director trying to push this left back in there. Okay. So that's just the nature of the beast. And I cancelled the loan, come back to the first team. And at the end of that month, the funniest thing was I didn't actually get paid. And I was like, I didn't get paid. I told my mum, I said, I didn't get paid. She was like, okay, we'll call the club. Called the club, and the club said, oh, sorry, we've got him down as he's left. It's like, no, he's still here. So I don't know factually, but I think that the deal was that advanced behind my back that I was actually down as I've left the club.
Wow.
Crazy.
Just so we understand, you said there about kind of directors of football pushing the players they have. It's always a perception that managers choose everything. It's the manager. Can you just share a bit of light on directors and managers and the roles there?
Possibly in the youth kind of sector. So he was like a manager of kind of like the youth elite talent. So it was kind of like pushing your guys up to the first team, and then it's down to the manager. But the manager will only see what he gets shown first. or gets presented in this light. So after I cancelled the loan, I come back and I just trained non-stop. I was fortunate that Ancelotti saw I was not bad. And a couple months later, I had my debut against Birmingham, got the assist, and the rest was history.
Ancelotti gave you your debut?
Yeah, but only because I made that decision to come back.
Did he communicate with you as to why? Like, did he highlight you? You just turn up in training. You just perform. When he's doing tactics, listen, be able to learn the tactics, understand the tactics, and he trusted me. Okay, so then let's use that, because he then leaves. Right? You mentioned it's like going back to the start every time.
After he said, how many games do you want next season and stuff? I was like, what do you mean, how many games? I was like, I don't know. I know 20 all in, something. He said, no problem. And he got the sack. That's finished.
So then AVB comes in.
Yeah.
And you have to have the same conversation again, or do they come to Andre Villas-Boas?
At
the time, like he was kind of Fabian Hertzler style at the time.
Yeah,
was he 31?
Mad young.
Yeah.
I think he was tasked with the chalice of transition. I think he was meant to try and make a transition.
What's happened to him?
He's president of Porto.
Director of Porto,
something like this, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But he then went to
China,
went to Spurs, of course.
Spurs.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's funny at Spurs. When I saw him at Spurs, I think he went through a lot of, I really respect him for a few things in terms of how straightforward he was, and he told the truth, which was amazing. Because he said at the start of the season, look, there was some guy called Andreas Pereira, probably, he was a left wing back at Porto or something, they were trying to bring in. And he was saying, look, Newcastle here, they want to take you. He's saying, I don't want to sell you, but I want to bring this person in, and if I get this person in, I don't want to stand in your way to go to Newcastle. I was like, when he said that, I was like, thank you very much.
Because at that time, you had Ashley Cole and you.
Yeah.
And then that would have brought
so he would have brought
in the same position.
Another one, and I was getting to the age where I need consistent time. But he just fancied this player, so he thought he'd rather go with Pereira than me, which is fine. Absolutely fine. And that's what I love about managers. Just be men. Men is men.
Do you think that most don't tell the truth?
They'll just hide it or whatever. But he's probably one of the only ones that was very direct in that instance. Didn't have to call me into his office, but I appreciate it because he said, "Look, Newcastle here. If I take him, you can go Newcastle. If not, I want you in my team, because it's not like I want to get rid of you, but I would love this person over you."
How did that style compare to Ancelotti's style?
I think the style was a bit too structured. I think he was a bit too
AVB.
Yeah, AVB. Yeah, it was a bit too. It was a bit too rigid. The whole tactics and the way he was trying to implement them.
Do you think that was because he was a young manager trying to make a mark,
Possibly.
Not an experienced head who had the confidence already in his approach?
Probably had the kind of wanted to show the bravado and the strength. But it was hard because it was a transition between all the senior guys as well. I think maybe there were some conversations about transitioning them on, and then going through a transition of the kind of senior guys out, new guys in, and I think that probably just got mismanaged. And because there were some strong senior guys.
But also, you have a 30. Was he 31? I think he was.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
31-year-old, and then you've got Terry, Lampard, Drogba, Cole, Cech, who are the same, if not older. Is that a strange relationship to have? Yeah,
possibly. And I think maybe there was a mismatch on, instead of just having that, I think you look at a Brighton coach.
Yeah.
I think he has that aura of, I know I'm young, I'm willing to listen to anybody, but I know what I'm good at, and I know what I want to do. But I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I'm very confident. And then the older players can share in with that. I think maybe AVB's one, he wanted to be like, I'm in charge, I know what I'm doing, I don't need you guys. I think that's a bit tough.
But that transition then, when he leaves in February, Dimatteo comes in, and it obviously ends in the Champions League win, which seemed massively driven by the dressing room as much as it was by the manager.
Yeah, it was. I think exactly what it turned into, by being led by Robbie and the players, the senior players, is what Chelsea had lost, because we was in a precarious moment in the league where things were inconsistent. I think it was like 6th or something, which is ridiculous. And we had a meeting one time, and I think AVB went, a big meeting. Everyone basically, what's changed? What's different? Like, what's going on? I want everybody to speak and give their opinion. And when it come to me, my thoughts was, and my feeling of the whole dressing room and the club at that time was, it just didn't feel like the Chelsea that I was brought up in, where from the age of 16, 17, 18, 19 to 20, we didn't think about losing. There wasn't a thing. It wasn't like an over arrogance, but it was, you would look around and you're so confident that everyone is the best in their position. And there's no one here that's here because of anything. And you get so much power from that. And the ethos was winning and winning and winning. And there used to be this feeling. And yeah, from the youth team down, and you look at the records of everyone white, I don't know, I can't really explain it, but there was a feeling of you would never ever think about losing.
And you said that?
Yeah. I said, I don't think it's here.
What was the response?
No, it was everyone. It wasn't like a debate each.
Yeah.
It was just listen to everyone's thing. And I say, that was the biggest thing for me. I just felt like we'd lost that. Like, I feel like we're going into games thinking about, oh, hopefully we can win.
Is there a feeling of resignation when you are in a bad period and the rumours start swirling? Is ex-manager, but in this case AVB, are they going to get the sack? Are the players in an element of, fuck it, there's not much we can do, we're on the downward slope? How does that temperament look when the downward slope is very obvious?
I think going through it a few times, from the players' perspective, I think it becomes frustration, because I think the managers go into pure delusion. I don't know if it's tough for them. I would imagine in there, it's hard to think about everything objectively. It's hard for them to come away from themselves and actually see their actions. They're kind of blaming players, or they need this, they need that, but their whole action, the way they're taking the training sessions, the tempo of the training session, the detail of the tactical approach is just a shadow of what it once were when the manager was being successful. And I just think maybe they just get into a blur, an operational blur, egotistical protection. I'm not sure what it is, but they just get into this lane. Destruction.
Was it at the time at the club? And it's an interesting point on prioritizations, but the Champions League was such an issue for the club. It had been the thing that we wanted, Abramovich had wanted from the start, and it hadn't happened despite being, one kick away. And that year it really did, it's easy to say now because we won it, but that year really did feel like the last time that group of players would probably be at the level they needed to be at to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Did that all-consuming obsession become actually quite a hard thing for, should we say, the managers to be able to deal with, but also the players?
As the players, it definitely wasn't a stress. It was, we want to do that. We have to do that. Everyone wants to do that. We have to make that step. And like I said, that was the feeling and the thing. It was normal. It was normal for us to take that step.
What's the feeling in the dressing room as you're like getting ready? It's 7:30, kickoffs at 8.
Mm.
What is that feeling? Is it excitement? Is it nerves? Is it?
Yeah, a bit of everything.
Depends which game you're talking about.
I'm saying the final.
The final.
The final, that was.
Like, can you palpably feel the nerves?
Well,
yeah.
He's the only player to
hear
ever.
Is it not coming through again?
The only player to ever make his debut in the Champions League in the final.
The thing for me is, I think because of the varied kind of pathway I've had, and I felt like, I was fortunate enough to go to Chelsea and stuff, but I felt like everything I developed after that was earned. I never had like an easy ticket where you say, oh, come on, let's go here, or I fancy him, and you get like this, some players get this elevated pathway. I've had to learn and go and play and keep playing to develop it. And coming back to Nottingham Forest, Billy Davies, it's funny. So I'll be in a Champions League final, and all I'm thinking about is Billy Davies. And he used to say, so we was playing against Derby. I think we played them. That's a big game now. I think we beat them like 5-2 or something. But before the game, he was like, you just walking around the dressing room saying, play the game and not the occasion. Just walking around saying, play the game, not the occasion. And funny enough, when I was at that Champions League, when I was getting ready, that's all I could think of. So when I'm hearing the Champions League soundtrack and stuff, which is amazing. And having that realization, I've got this echo of just play the game. It's just another game.
Did it actually work? Easy to say, hard
yeah,
to do.
It did. Right? It did. And it actually worked all right. Playing against, like, for example, Robin was there. No matter how dangerous he was, I'd had that repetition against him when I was 16. The more you play against a player, you become familiar with them. So it wasn't like I played against him in major competition, but trust me, it's not easy to get 300 one-on-ones against Robin in pre-season.
Yeah, I remember Robin
16.
so much for Adidas F50.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He was the one.
Player.
Do you remember with the ones that covered up the laces?
Yeah, I remember it was the black, like electric blue stripes around the back.
Was it full black? Or was it like a grey?
It was grey,
like a grey.
Yeah.
Did you? On that note, do you get paid to have like a boot deal?
Yeah, I think I was Adidas.
Oh, you were Adidas.
I had their 50s on,
They're also probably not necessarily banking on you starting left wing in the
I
Champions
don't know
League
if that was
final.
in there. So I would imagine, like, now being obviously helping some people out on their journeys. Well, Verso can go up to millions now.
And you sign up for a season?
No, it'd be quite long-term contracts, 4 or 5 years, and then they'd be like, what you do is kind of implement like a matrix system or a development system, so it's always progressive. So if you say you get promised, I don't know, £100 a year, but you'll get guaranteed £50. But if you play X amount of games here, you'll activate another 10 X amount of games there, and you activate the full retainer, then you get the money. So that would be international games, Premier League games, where you can activate the whole thing.
Totally get you.
Yeah.
So when you look at, like, say, your core salary paycheck from Chelsea, whatever club you're at, what % is core salary versus alternative financing? Be it boot deals, be it toothpaste, Instagram ads, you name it.
Yeah. Well, your core monthly will probably be, it'd be salary and bonuses, performance bonuses.
Yeah.
And then there's a team performance bonus that's paid at the end of the year, depending on where you finish and how many games you've played.
What was the biggest team performance bonus?
Team performance bonus?
Surely Champions League.
Yeah, Champions League, I think, for 90 minutes.
And everyone gets the same there.
So if you played, for example, if you was consistent in a competition and played all the games, you get paid per percentage of games that you played, basically. It's broke down into the pool.
And the biggest one for you was the Champions League.
Yeah, the biggest one was Champions League.
Who told you were starting that final? Manager?
Yeah, Robbie at lunchtime, yeah.
And that was it completely unexpected? Or did you have was there any hope?
I had probably 10% thought, because if you look at, I think even some of the last game of the season, we had suspensions. Yeah, what a win. Honestly, the whole story, that's crazy.
What's crazy?
No, the whole Napoli, come back, the Camp Nou, it's mad. The
same year, right?
Yeah,
so we lost
unbelievable.
3-1 to Napoli away. Everyone's like, done.
Mm-hmm.
Beat them 4-1 at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
Then it was Benfica.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Barcelona.
Barcelona was crazy. You got
1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Terry sent off in the second leg.
Terry off. Ivanovic kicking the spot, gets the booking, gets the ban. Messi misses the penalty.
Was Ivanovic a great teammate?
Yeah, he's a top man. Yeah, core part of the team. Super good guy.
Horrible part of that was when he found out he missed the final in the interview. I remember watching it and he was like, what? Yeah. He didn't know.
Unbelievable.
But that Torres goal. How was Torres?
Yeah, very good guy. Very good guy.
Because as fans, you just wanted him to do well.
Yeah.
And he had amazing moments, but
he had amazing
not
moments.
The expectations.
He needs to be more consistent in the main part. But other than that, he was a very, very good guy. That's one thing. All of them were proper men. I think some difference now were not really age related, but they're all mature, very mature, like all leaders, captains.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the differences changed so much. I don't know if it's the game in general.
Do you think there's a difference in loyalty to club? I think one thing you see more is just an increasingly mercenary nature to football clubs, bluntly, by players themselves, where like wearing the badge doesn't quite mean as much as it used to. And like the fierce loyalty of a Lampard and a Terry and a, you name it, Ballack.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see that attachment today.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. I can't really...
it's hard.
But I would say that's also on the clubs. Clubs now, if they get a good deal and you know, they think it's a business transaction they want to execute on, no matter who you are, then there's a chance they'll look at it, whether maybe previously they just wouldn't have entertained an offer.
Did the players have a lot of love for Abramovich? Abramovich was obviously a loved figure by the fans.
Yeah, massive, deep, respect towards him. I think just how he conducted himself.
How did he conduct himself?
Very calm. He would come, whether he's in the training ground or come into the dressing room, he would speak or just, sit on his corner, but just have this aura of respect. And yeah.
He never came in at halftime and gave you a hairdryer treatment.
No.
He didn't pop out of the laundry basket or whatever Jose did.
Yeah, I remember.
Did he get involved ever with the negotiation side? Let's say you're trying to sign a new deal and maybe it was a tough one, or there was a player who really wanted to come. Was that down to the team, or was there a moment where the owner actually goes, "No, you need to hear this from me"?
So the owner, he would deliver if there was a sacking of the manager.
Would he?
Yeah, he would go into the media room, and himself would be there, and he's one of his main right hand guys, Eugene, would be there as well. And
what's that like? What's the atmosphere?
That's an interesting atmosphere. It's a very you can feel the power in them situations. And he would give his reasons why he's not happy to get rid of this manager because of X, Y, and Z, and why he might be disappointed with us, but it's important that we move forward.
Which manager was there the most discontent about seeing leave?
Was there the most discontent?
Yeah, so when everyone left, they're like, no, I don't feel that was right.
Under my thing, probably I wasn't so close to it then, but probably Mourinho, probably. I think maybe that was like, I think that was one moment where he thought, when he left then, he thought, right, anything's possible in football right now.
First time.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah. Second time was a bit different.
Oh, yeah, second time was
was there any manager you didn't need to say who, where everyone's like, thank God?
Yeah, a few. Just honestly.
Is it hard to play for a manager you don't respect?
Yeah, I think so. And the respect is more, and the respect is hard not to have. I think I probably only had it with really one manager.
Why?
He was just like when the dinner ladies don't like you. Like, that's a problem, right? Yeah. How's that transitioning? Your whole aura, the way you're moving around is too like, I'm the way, everyone needs to listen to me. This is how it's going to go. And then you go 360 and a year later you're actually communicating with things. You're actually seeing the value in old players. Actually taking on new ideas is actually what's going to make you survive in the best league in the world.
Did you see a major change in how managers conducted themselves over your career? What they were able to do maybe in the end of a Ferguson Mourinho time to the managers they then had to be to get on well with players towards the end of your career?
Yeah, I kind of think managers had had a few changes. Sorry, getting frustrated. Managers. No, I think there was 3 changes, and I think 2 come very, very quick. I think you had the traditional managers like Ferguson's, and then when kind of Wenger come along a bit, they were kind of like tactics, get around your man, and then they were great man managers. Their squad was, very gelled, very cohesive. And then it moved to kind of like deep tacticians. I think Mourinho tinkering with every little thing, doing so many unorthodox things to win a game. And then come the kind of, now the way the managers are going, the Klopps, the Peps, and, loads of managers, the detail they put into their game. It's not, remember it went down the phase of, I'm the manager, you're the coach. Now I think the top managers are like, coaches, they're coach managers. So they'll take it, they'll have their coaches, but they'll be leading sessions. They'll still be on the pitch leading sessions. We're looking for meticulous changes, details, not just leaving it to their coach. Gone are the days of that old school mantra where it's like, the let my coaches take Monday to Thursday. I'll come out on a Friday and do the last little bit. Like the managers nowadays are so detailed in what they do.
Which manager today do you look at and think I would most like to play under you?
Be Pep or Klopp, you know. Playing against them two teams was amazing. They're so mentally intense to play against them two. I think City is a more mentally draining game. Liverpool's probably more physically draining. They used to stress, for example, people playing against Liverpool, Salah and Mane, they would run inside all day long. They'd be threatening long ball. They'd keep possession, but they wouldn't be scared to play a long ball. But a long ball is so accurate or so enough that they're sprinting in behind, so you can't head it back to the keeper. The ball's not got enough pace on it, so you can't do a big header. So you have to just get some sort of contact on it or guide it out of play. But if you do get that contact, if not Salah's in behind you, the midfield, even though it's gone long, they haven't thought, oh, it's gone long, but I wanted it short. And then they turn around and then they go. No, as soon as the ball goes long, the Hendersons, the everyone's of the world is turning, sprinting, picking up that second phase ball, and then they got you in your half.
And if you're playing City?
And if you're playing City, it's more, there's a player there, I need to get close to him, he's a bit too far, but as soon as I move out of this gap, someone's going to pop in this gap. So I have to stay in this gap. It's like a game of chess. City's like the most intense game. So, and they've got mad possession, so they've got runners everywhere. But you can't move too far because they're waiting for you to move out of the pocket and they'll kill you in that pocket. It's crazy. But it's really good.
Tell us, like you've got Liverpool on a Saturday. The week before that, what's happening? Are you tailoring to the opponent? Are you focused on your tactics?
Yeah, we're focused probably 3 parts. How we're going to build up. A few parts actually. 3, 4. So how we're going to build up from our build-up play, whether we've seen something where we can play short, and once we play short and execute 1, 2, 3 passes, the space is there. So we know, how we're going to kill them from the start. Or if that's not on, we're just going to squeeze up. We're going to play to Trent's side because he's probably weaker in the air and is further away from Verge as well. And then you'll defend against, you'll go through their consistent attacks of how we need to defend and cover each other, and then how we're going to attack them if we get into their attacking third, how we're going to kill them there, what's the best runs, and then how we're going to press them, who's the weak point, which points are we going to jump on, where are we going to try and push the game. So there'll be like loads of different levels.
In my head, and you're talking about this, I'm thinking of you at Southampton.
Yeah.
When you're playing regularly, captaining the side, right? It's the moment of transition, right? When you are going from this history that you had with Chelsea to then that decision to move and move permanently, most importantly. Why? Just to continue my trajectory, to be honest. I think my games
How old were you?
I was 25, I think 25, 24, 25. Just to continue my game. I had that ethos at the start. I'd love playing. And then obviously you're in a big squad, so you need to be patient. I think my games went something like 12, 18, 25, 30, and they were progressing until they didn't, and they stopped to progress. I think when Mourinho probably come in, he started to playing Aspi left back, this and that, and all these things. So there's no problem for me.
Do you think Aspi was a better left back than you?
No chance. It's impossible. But if you look at the tactic, probably Mourinho wanted more solid, consistent player. But I could do that. But also, he knew I could just possibly go winning the game. But he probably didn't want that person winning the game or assisting the game, or he'd rather hedge and be more conservative, because I think him and his whole personal demeanour probably changed and tactically changed from his initial. When he first come, it was 4-3-3, 4-diamond-2. We would know. I remember the youth team, we used to have to replicate things. Very progressive football, very attacking, and winning. And he never stopped winning for sure. But the tactic actually changed. I think he become more conservative with his approach to the game over time.
Second time round, because that team was. Well, he came back and won the title, didn't he? We got Fabregas, Diego Costa in. And it actually played some quite exciting football.
Yeah, and I think Fabregas is probably so key because he could release people with that long ball.
Diego Costa, he was an animal.
Yeah, he was funny. There would be I remember we was playing. I think it was at Southampton. We was playing them, and anyway, we're playing the ball's down there, and we're like squeezing up to the halfway line, and you could just see he's just standing in my eye line, just turning around, just staring at me. He's staring at me. You know, you're not trying to pay attention. He's staring. I'm like, the ball's there. Like, it could come any minute, and he's just still staring at me, and he's staring. I'm not giving him attention, and I finally look at him. He looks at me, he laughs, and runs off.
Really? Yeah. Who had the weirdest thing? We've heard someone say, I can't remember who it was, which player. Someone, I think maybe Falcao to a centre back. Someone told a story. They were like, so he was asking me who does my laundry at home. He was doing like some weird thing he was asking the centre back that to try and put him off. And the next thing you know, he'd spun him around the back.
Yeah, he would do that mad stuff.
Who would do that weird kind of stuff?
Probably me to them, to be honest. Me talking rubbish. Yeah, I just love to have fun with it when I'm on the dance floor.
Who did you look at the team sheets and go, oh God, I can't believe I'm marking them? Who was the dreaded, I can't believe I have to be on them?
I'm not sure. Like
Hazard.
I think Hazard. Hazard was what a player.
One of the best.
Yeah.
How do you analyze that like downfall?
I think it comes to a continuation. I think he got to Madrid and that was his end goal. So maybe there was not much to chase, to be honest.
Strange, wasn't it? Because I was looking at the stats. And I think he missed something ridiculous. Like he missed 21 games across his time at Chelsea through injury. So let's say that was across 5 years, 6 years, 21 games.
That's crazy.
Nothing. Right. So 3 to 4 games a season. Goes to Madrid and he barely plays 21 games. So something has to. I
think you need to try and stay locked in. I think towards the end of my career, there's dynamics that come into play. As soon as you come out of that sort of locked in football mindset, it's hard to get back in. It's hard to get back. Like now I was thinking, I can't even dream of getting back into, you could get back into shape, but can you get back into that mentality where it's very like straight, laser focused, you're training in 2 days, you know your patterns, you've got this team then, and this team then. It's a lot. And you don't realize it until you come out how locked in you are even when you're chilling in the park with your kids. But you're always thinking, I'm in at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Where did you play your best football, do you think?
Southampton. Yeah.
So when you leave Chelsea, I'm sorry to be blunt, but I'm the VC. You're on how much?
So at Chelsea, it finished at about, I think it was about 50k.
50k a week.
Yeah.
And at Southampton, your first contract is?
The first contract was about 60 something, yeah.
Got you. And was that the highest you were paid?
No, all in about 120.
Wow. Well done.
So so it was good. And considering I wasn't in the top 4.
That's my point. So
bands,
when you look at like an Eden Hazard today, who now has a long life ahead of him, and that obviously is not earning money now. He's obviously stopped playing. Is he like financially secure?
I think so. I think it's them ones that will be very financially secure. I think that if they build a big bulk of sponsorship money, they could be getting £2 to £4 million a year just through sponsors.
Yeah. So when you are in WhatsApp groups with other players today, is everyone like, hey, I'm doing stuff because I love it and I want to be investing and it's fun? Or is it like an awareness that actually life is long? And don't get me wrong, 20 million is a lot of money, but with kids and wives and holidays, 20 million goes.
Yeah. And it was, probably what's the average of kid private school? It's crazy.
Yeah. And so is it a necessity or a passion for the players that you're...
I think it's a passion at the minute, a bit of a passion and a cool card, investing in a minute for them. That's the start as well. I think some are actually more savvier, but they're not thinking about sustainable returns for the future, or what's my cash flow going to be like in then? I was having these businesses, that's great, but where's my cash? Where's my return? Say if I've got X amount of million there, it's bringing me, I don't know, 7 to 10% a year. I'm going to nick 1.5% of that out, put in my pocket. That's that much cash. These rentals give me that much cash.
Did you change your spending when not earning?
I like to, yeah, of course, because you have to.
But a lot
way.
don't, and that's why they end up in trouble.
I think the mentality that I had was I like to keep my spends kind of not too far away of what my reality would be when I finished. So, for example, if you knew you needed, I don't know, when you retire, you're going to need 30k a month or something, 40k a month. You would kind of keep your spends in and around that already. You know, you wouldn't be spending, 180k a month, because then the jump from 180 to 30, 40 seems paltry. You're like, fucking hell. Sorry, you're thinking, I've got to live on. But no, but you should condition. It's all habitual, right?
But most don't, do they?
Most don't. You'd be spending a paycheck to paycheck.
What was the most crazy car you had?
Crazy car.
Yeah.
I had a 458 convertible hardtop. That was very nice.
Is the car part
nice.
like Boys Paradise?
Yeah. People like it. I think it's.
Is there much social capital tied to cars? When someone comes in with like the most awesome Lambo, is everyone like, "Whoa, Michael"?
Yeah, I think they get that. You probably get a solid 48 hours or 3 days, and then everyone doesn't really care, to be honest.
And then the N'Golo Kante rocks up, and
and then another, and then everyone's like, "That's cool. You're doing it wrong. That's what you should be like."
But people talk about. There's an age, isn't there? And I'm interested in this because you work with a lot of young players now. There's an age where that can move from being maybe cool to, if it's too young and you're just breaking through, arrogant, put that car away. That's you're not there yet. Yeah,
definitely. I think you always got to have them principles, confidence and principles. You don't need to hide your money. You can enjoy your money. Just be smart with it and think. Like, for example, when I wanted a Range Rover, I was thinking, it'd be my dream to get a Range Rover Sport. But I made sure I played like 100 games in the league already. So although I weren't, or 50 to 100 games in the league, although I weren't established in the Chelsea first team, and the day I knew I was a footballer. I was a footballer. So I thought that mentality, if they understand my journey, even though it hasn't been with them, I've played near enough 100 games in the league now. That I'm sure, like, me getting a nice car isn't.
How do you advise players? You see people, a lot of athletes who have some success early, like your Raducanus of the world, get a lot of sponsorship opportunities, and it's like, make money while it's there
100%.
Because it doesn't always last. But be aware that that's a lot of distraction. That's 2 days shooting here, 3 days there, travel here. How do you advise the balance between make hay while sun shines and focus on execution and being the best?
Yeah, I think the art of leverage. I think when you are that star, that's where you leverage your star capacity for financial gains and for longevity and network and what you want to do. That's the most two important things. And another thing, I always have this debate with some people is make time, and when you're going through it, even though it is busy, it is demanding, but it is what it is. I just don't get people that say, "Oh, I don't have time for things." It's weird for me. You just make time.
Do you find you have to be careful when you are managing players? The difference between giving advice and letting them kind of learn a little bit for themselves. You don't want to necessarily be projecting your experiences. Times do change as well.
Yeah, of course. You can't. It's kind of, you give examples, but at the end of the day, everyone's living their life, and everybody lives a different career, has different moments. Mistakes won't be the same as your mistakes, so it's not burdening.
What do you think your biggest mistake was?
My biggest mistake was when I was with Andy Carroll and Scott Sinclair, and we was in England under 19s in Leeds, and we snuck out of the team hotel in the evening, and I think we were just chilling at like a McDonald's. We was like 10 days away in Leeds, stuck in this hotel, and one evening we just went out to go to the McDonald's up the road. Didn't happen. There was some banter in the dressing room. I think somebody's room got, like, the beds got flipped over and all that stuff, and then that wasn't quite ethical, and there was a team meeting, and team meeting was called, and we wasn't there. We was that thing, yeah. So, and then we got called back, and I was on loan at Oldham at the time. We got called back in, and the England manager then was telling me, yeah, you'll never play for England again. This, that, you'll never do this, you'll never do that. I was thinking, oh my God, this is madness. And then it was on Sky Sports News, I think, and I was just thinking, oh, Chelsea are gonna, you know, everything you're thinking, this is
For a
not
McDonald's.
Cool. Yeah, well, not
Doesn't
really
matter where you
McDonald's,
are.
yeah. We're just out, just to go and hang around and just have a bit of freedom.
When you go back to your club,
Yeah.
is that a club issue? Do they speak to you about that?
No, I went back to Oldham. I think the club might have called. It is what it is. It is what it is. And then probably England said their fair share about I'll never do it. And I think that's probably my worst mistake because that cost me. I was delayed in the 21s trajectory. So I would have done it and then...
Delayed you to go to the first team?
And delayed me to go to the England 21s next step. Because that's what I was probably then, and then I was going to immediately go.
Yeah.
But then because of the stuff, I wasn't chose for selection for a year or two.
The real question on the back of that is, what was the Mackie D's order?
I think it was a large Sprite.
Oh, it's a large Sprite. You didn't even get a chicken
Sprite,
select.
Yeah, no.
If it was like, you know,
Happy Meal?
No, Happy Meal with a toy.
That's a McDonald's advert, isn't it?
Yeah.
The chicken select was worth the England call-up.
Yeah. So,
Just saying. That would be like that.
I thought that was the end of the world.
The
Costing my
Smurf
England.
figurine in the Happy Meal.
Do you get paid for playing for England?
Yeah.
So our fees that we get are all donated. Anything that we get paid, we go to work for. So then we'll do commercial advertising and stuff, and then they'll get a retainer of the commercial value of the team on the trips. Yeah.
Do you find your like enterprise value as a player for commercial stuff goes up when you're in the England team?
Yeah, definitely. I always, definitely. But the value of footballers and sponsors compared to tennis players and stuff is always. I know it's a singular sport, it's a singular person, so the money and in football it has to be divided so much, but the differences are crazy.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you
remember
when we've had Miguel on and he was talking about, so we had an agent on and he was talking about the challenge in football is really the top one, top 3, 4%.
I was surprised he was saying
right?
that great players still didn't get that much.
No,
he said he's chasing deals for really good players because there's so many and the big ones will swallow up the majority of
they'll just swallow up the majority, and it's crazy.
Did you ever have any like brand deals on the side with like Sensodyne or like Lynx deodorant?
Just through, I think anything like that was just through a club. So it would be a club deal. It wasn't a direct deal. It was a club deal and part of the commercial package you get shoved in.
Do you wish you'd marketed yourself more, less? Is there anything that you could advise yourself on monetization opportunities while you were playing?
I would love to. Actually, what I'd love to have done is, like we touched on earlier, I'd love to have been incubated better on marketing, investing and everything in them early stages. And I think that's what, that moment there, I think if you nail that down for the players in terms of just life development in them moments, I think we'll get well-rounded players making half the mistakes that they do. I think it's the difference between in America. I think when they forced to go through the kind of college university program, I think it also gives them time to mature as individuals.
Completely agree.
At least then they get to be around, they get there on a scholarship, but they get to be around other kind of different wealth profiles, and they get to shape their mind. Where you're coming from Southeast London, you're the first generation of money. You get 10k a week at the age of 17. Your family don't know much about money. You're learning money. Everyone's eyes are lightened up, and it's tough.
So you then go to Southampton, and you then become big fish in smaller pond. And Southampton's a great team, but you're a bigger fish and a big signing in a smaller pond.
Yeah.
How does one's mentality change with that?
It was progressive because I think I'm going to go here, I'm going to play well, and then I'm going to come back to, I know what it was for. You're going to go there and play there If it's good, then I'll come back. Now, if it's great, then I'll come back to a Champions League club. Or if not, having a career, we'll see what happens there.
Why Southampton? Because I'd imagine you had quite a few offers.
Yeah, a few offers. Yeah, a few offers.
Who were the other offers?
It was West Ham at the time.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, yes. And that was it was a bit of a weird deal. Weird deal. And
why?
Actually, I think Allardyce was there, and I think he just bought Cresswell from Ipswich. But then the owners wanted to bring me in and stuff. I was just like, I don't want to get. It's not like, the manager. Like the owners want me. I don't want to be that guy where the ownership brought me in and the manager's like, I've got to play him, but I just brought my guy in. It just didn't. It was just weird. So there was a few others, but I went to Southampton. I met Ronald Koeman, and I really like these style of managers. A little bit like Ancelotti, more of a father figure. Doesn't have to shout or scream. Massive aura. Can just give you a suggestion like that, and that's enough. You don't need to shout at me or it's just I just resonated with him a lot, and what they were trying to build, and how they had built a good momentum before with a previous kind of team that got promoted and stuff, and they done well. But then how they were going to take it forward, and I loved it.
You have to be careful not to make a decision on a club based on a manager. When we've talked about the volatility of managerial positions.
Yeah, because you look at the setups, and I think the professionals. I think at the time they had Paul Mitchell as well, which was very good at his role. The ownership was structured very well, so it had everything. It had the new training ground. Manager was great. Ownership was very, very good. The Lieber family, the professionals in the directorship as well was all there, and it was set. It was set.
And most importantly, you're playing week in, week out.
Yeah, week in, week out.
You were in team of the season, weren't you? PFA.
Yeah. That was one of the most. Yeah, in the team of the season. Yeah. So
for that year, and then England. Joe touched on it, but getting those opportunities, club versus country, is such an interesting conversation. It comes up. Where did it sit for you? Getting that chance? Oh yeah, that's what you do it for. You want to be the best. So there's nothing like being when you're in the England team. You're the best in the country. So it's not. So if no matter where you go, you've got that. It's like a badge, like a Premier League badge. But then you've got the gold star because you won the Champions League. It's like you're the premium player, and you think, right, I'm at the top. This whole country, I'm at the top. You were the first Gareth Southgate years, weren't you? As well? Yeah. Was that transformation as impactful as everyone likes to make out on how the England team was put together? I think culturally. There's two things at play here. I think in terms of where the industry shifted to. What Gareth done was he created a better culture, a friendlier culture, a more cohesive culture. Possibly we had the whole players used to be a bit cliquey, not in a bad way, but teams would sit with each other and not really interact, and then the whole social bond probably wouldn't come through, and you need that a lot in big fixtures. Not that players from teams still didn't sit with each other, but he created a good ethos, to be honest, Gareth. Really good dynamic, a lot of team building sessions that end up developing a good ecosystem. And do you think that therefore built the respect that seemed to run so deeply through that management style? Yeah, I think, and then that the expert thing was what he done was sort of off the field stuff. The on the field stuff, I think if you look at it, he was quite in the early stage. It was quite. I think he kind of done the kind of like why Spain are so good. I think because if you look at Spain, they pick generally from two teams, right? They got Real Madrid and Barcelona, and then a few others. But when you have that consistency of tactical know-how and consistency with the players, where they're playing off the same hymn sheet from two teams, to bring that together, you get a lot of performance because it's such a small pool all playing the same way. So when you bring them together from wherever they are, they know what it means to the country, and they've been raised in a similar ecosystem, so it's easier to get that performance. So I think if you look at the teams, what I felt was it was when Tottenham were flying. So then we would play wing backs. There'd be ever-present Tottenham players within the core of the team. So you have Walker and Danny Rose. Yeah, Walker, Danny Rose, Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, and then Dele Alli. Then all of a sudden, that's 50% of your team playing that are familiar playing one tactic. So you'll get a natural uplift on performance as well.
I think that's the...
Who was the best manager you played under?
So many played very good roles. I'd say Koeman and Ancelotti. I'd put them two side by side.
Really, Koeman right up there.
Yeah.
Who was the worst manager you played under?
The worst. Right. He was the worst. He just didn't have a clue. Pellegrino he was at Southampton.
Why?
Not so much. I think his whole delivery just couldn't get it across, to be honest. Just couldn't get it across.
Do players all feel that? Is everyone going, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Or they're like, or there's mad drills, or the assistant will have us doing mad warm-up drills where it's just like, we're all here for learning. That's fine. We can have new concepts, but what is that?
Did you ever have a bust-up with a manager?
Yeah.
What was the biggest bust-up you had with a manager?
It was probably Ralph Hasenhüttl for Southampton at the start.
What was it about?
It was micro things. Like he come in, he thought, to be honest, I have a lot of respect for him, and I really like him. He's a really good guy. But at the start, when he come in fully egotistical, thinking like anyone 30 plus or 28 plus is like the enemy because they can't learn new things. It's his way or the highway. Everyone needs to listen. There's no talking back. And it was like, all right, but we're only here to win. Like, you need feedback, because I've been with a lot of managers that have done a little bit more than what you do, and they listen to people, and this is how you survive in the Premier League. But I think he sensed that, and he was so paranoid of other people perhaps making him look like he's not the number one, misconfusing feedback for talking back. He was just so like authoritarian approach, this way, that way.
What happened to him?
He ended up doing okay for us, but basically there was one game, and I think we was losing or something, and then he took me off, and then like last minutes we was going for the game, and I'm thinking, why is he taking me off? Why don't you take a centre back off? Like, take a centre back off, and if anything, just keep all your attacking players on the field. Take a centre back off, and worst case I can go centre back or something, because we're losing. Like, we need to go for it. Like, anyway, I spoke to him. I said to him, oh, like, I just didn't know why you took me off. Like, can you like explain it? Just a normal chat after when you're debriefing the game the next day. He just said, like, was a bit hostile and was like, it was just a decision that I made. And I was like, all right, no problem. And I left the room. And then after that, we just never spoke. And he was playing people like, I think we had Moussa Djenepo, he was playing him left back. He was playing Kevin Danzo left back, like centre backs left back, wingers left back, anything to kind of provoke a reaction out of me. But I wouldn't, because I want to win. So it's fine. If you want to play that, it's no problem. I'll just train every day. And didn't kind of say nothing. And I spoke to one of the directors. One of the directors said to me, I said, like, what's going on? What's he said to you? He said, he's said he wasn't happy with that moment. And now it's just like a Mexican standoff. I was thinking, Mexican standoff? Well, let's just have another chat and fix it. What's the issue? Let's fix it. And he never wanted to communicate and wanted to push his way. Anyway, was anti-possession, was trying to tell him, look, perhaps we need to take more possession on the ball. We can't be so frantic as what you want to play. High-speed football, that's fine. But sometimes you need to keep the ball in the Premier League, because otherwise you're going to die. You're going to concede last minute. You need to keep the ball. That's a form of defending as well. He just wasn't having it. Right? Wouldn't even let us take a touch. The ball would come. He'd be so focused on transitions. I would take the ball down, or I would play one touch forward, but he'd want you to play one touch. Don't take a touch, play one touch. If it come, I'm playing one touch back.
So when he got fired, you were like, woohoo.
Well, actually, towards the end, he went full circle, because we played against Pep a few times, and I think he started to see that is possession football, actually. And he slowly, he ended up going for 360. Ended up being more personable, talking to everyone, trying to be people's best mate, had more of a character. We was doing possession-based things.
This is the one who was nasty to the dinner ladies.
this is the one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why he was or whatever, but they weren't a fan of him at times. And
they like possession-based football too.
Yeah,
they told him, here's your beans and possession.
And he was like, what do you mean? Yeah.
But that's disingenuous in a way. So that's when you're talking about, the respect, the automatic trust that you have in people. That just going up from 1 minute, I'm going to be like this, and the next minute. And I need you to the end of trying to give me a new contract to keep me to stay. I just thought, you weren't worth my time, because that moment at the start, like, he was very disrespectful. He was very disrespectful. I never said anything, never done anything. He actually killed my game because I stopped attacking. I had to stay back, and he was killing my game at Southampton. I had to stay back. I stopped attacking. They're like, oh yeah, he's getting on a bit, Ryan. No, he's not getting on. I'm just not allowed to run forward. I'm not allowed to run forward. I have to stay back here. So you're like, oh, all of a sudden Ryan's not getting crosses. He's not attacking fullback. No, it's because I have to stay back, which is fine if they want the team to do that, and I'll sacrifice like that. But from the early days of where it's very disrespectful and not he had no respect. The respect was a one-way street with him. And then coming back and then killing my game and then needed me to stay. Why would I stay? How was the process of you making that decision to retire?
How old were you?
34 turning 35. Basically so I was at Leicester and things didn't get off to a good start there.
Why?
Just, I don't know, transitions, things couldn't really get into my groove. It was cool. And then I think I got COVID before the start of the season. It was just it's a string of events. So I had COVID at the start of the season, which I missed the first game. And then I had a couple of weeks out of COVID. And then that prolonged, actually. I was getting I remember I would train. Then every time I'd stop training, I would just get a migraine straight away for another 6 weeks or so. So it was hard to get the fitness back after that. And then got back into the team. We was playing, easing in. Things were okay, but not as good as we wanted it to be. And then fast forward, I tore my meniscus. And simple operation, was probably aiming to be out for 1 month. But from the operation, I had an infection in the knee. And that one operation ended up having three more operations, and it just kept spiraling. So could never really get back since that. So it was a very, very tough time to have that go through that process. Yeah.
Was it?
And so you made the decision then, hey, it's not getting better, cut it.
Yeah, to get fit and then pursue other options. But then, I was, advancing in business and hedging myself, and I thought, I never wanted to be one of them players that just prolonging it. I see players when they play along, and I think, is it for the love or are you stuck? Are you stuck in this thing? You don't want to let go of it because either financially you're not set up, or you don't know what to do next, or you're just stuck in the cycle. So you play until you're, till you shouldn't be playing, to be honest. It looks weird. Or some people excel at it, they go on. But are they playing because they're stuck?
Is it for that reason that you think it's important that you are proactive in work outside of football while you're still playing? For sure.
And the all promotion we say is, it's great if players, are productive, thinking about investments. He wants to do this business, that business. But at the same time, the managers have to come along board with that. Because I've sensed a lot of managers that once you start being too loud in your business endeavors, you would start to be questioned and start to be like, oh, is he focused? Or you might play 2 bad games. And because you've been on 20VC, the business of sports, the week before, or you was at this investors event, is his mind on it? All them things come into it, which is ridiculous, but they will, and they do.
When you wake up the day after you retire, how do you feel? You've been a professional footballer for your whole life since you're 16, and the tag is suddenly removed. How do you feel when that identity is removed?
Yeah, for me, I didn't really build myself off the narrative of that, and that's probably one of the most important things for kids, young kids, probably from 12, 13, 14, 15, is to build your social worth, not off who you are, off not what you're good at. And I think the more players at that young age can try and restrain from, you're going to be the popular kid because you're at Chelsea for sure. But if you can try to differentiate and separate your social worth is associated with a badge, I think players in terms of mental health, when they get released and stuff, it's a lot more, the transition will be easier. So yeah, I never really bothered. I'm chilled. I just go to the coffee shop, go to the pub, take my space. I'm not really for it. I love brilliant things. I love the access that it brings me. I love doing all of that stuff, but I'm a very content, simple guy.
And what now then? You got lots going on. What's the focus?
So now I think, in establishing my thought process to the next part of my life, I think it all come down to being purpose-led. I think I want to do things where I feel good. So I want to help people. I want to make money. I want to generate great returns and great income, but I want to do it while helping people. I think that's why we spend a lot of time, one, advising and working, to guide new generation young players. It's great when you guide them and you see how much money they go on to make for their families, how much it changes their life. It makes me feel good. I work in Africa, where we go and, between, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, we go and change people's life, tangibly change their lives. And that feels very, very good. And then now probably just to move more to transcend the sports game and, try and invest in the sporting landscape and try and, keep developing this ecosystem. So yeah, that's where I want to be, helping people, making money.
Invest in the sporting landscape, asset side?
Yes. And more from ownership side. I went down the route of directors, you could be a director, but I really need to set the strategy. I think there's so much left on the table that
what is left on the table that is not being seen or appreciated
in the football.
Yeah,
there's so much more in terms of, there was a brief chat that we had before about what confused me was, more the study into the behaviours. Like I mentioned about the manager that's moaning, for example. I was thinking, how if you're an owner, and it's frustrating as a player to know that we're not training correctly, to know that we're not preparing correctly. But to hear a manager say, I need strikers. We're not scoring. But if you analyse the week flow of training, how many finishing drills did we do as a whole? And how many individual finishing drills did your striker do? And then when I saw that dislocation, I'm thinking, yeah, but you're demanding strikers. You're protecting your ego because you're shot to pieces. Tactically, you ain't got the team. Your owner, that's your argument you're using against your owner. And I'm thinking, well, that doesn't add up here. So there's so much, I think, with modern day technology that can be implemented into a club that could aid performance if you analyse behaviours and not just the outcome. Because there must be a minimum, I'm pretty sure there's a minimum exposures to goal a striker needs to go through for him to be in prime time to get the best opportunity. Still might not score, but how do you ready him? Surely in the whole tactical world that's going on, they worry about CV demand. Right, we've covered 5K, we've gone through the tactics, done. But where's the individual exposures to their actual actions that they're going to be demanded for at the weekend? Who's checking that? Nobody.
So if you had a club, you'd be building a performance model of more individual work and accountability.
Yeah, definitely. I'd study.
Why not just be a coach?
I don't want the demands. I don't want the same singular role for another 20 years of my life. Like I love traveling. I love achieving things. There's nothing more than I would like to own something, develop something and sell it. This is my passion. It comes back to the investment side.
Love it. Quick fire.
Let's do it.
You go first.
What do you wish you'd known at the start of your career that you know today?
I wish I knew.
I should have been born 10 years later.
Yeah. I wish I knew what the new pros were getting. Football education, to be honest, more. I think rather than what I like to do with the young players now, where me going through Mourinho, Ancelotti, and all these top managers, I think there's elements of that game that can be taught early, a lot earlier. So if you equip players with the tactical now sort of positional runs early, gives them a better chance to be spotted earlier from the manager. Yeah.
What was your pre-game meal?
It would be pesto pasta.
Night before or morning?
Both. So the night before, pesto. The morning would be an omelette with toast and some fruit, and then some pesto pasta again after that.
What was the weirdest pre-game ritual someone had in your team?
You know, I had to get rid of it because I don't like to be, I don't like to have these conspiracy things around me. I'd rather not, because if I haven't got it, then I'm done. I used to carry my boots, my first ever pair of boots, around. There were some Quasars, I think, Quasar Lineker Contours. I used to carry them around to all my games, but then sometimes I would leave it, and then I'd think I didn't like that output of misplacing it, and then I haven't got it, and then what happens? I'm going to play bad. So I chose to get rid of it.
Post Champions League win, what did you do as a team that night?
We enjoyed the evening. Had family, so we saw family, celebrated, and then just.
But do you have like a party on the jet back?
Yeah, so we stayed there at the top of the hotel,
and had a massive party.
There was an open rooftop swimming pool. It was good fun.
In business today, which manager are you most like that you played under?
In business.
In your businesses.
Okay, that's a good one. Am I trying to say something that makes myself look cool, or tell the real thing? Hassan Hood, not joking. Cool. I'd say probably Mourinho. I'd say probably when they're in his only because he loves. It's quite tinkery and visionary, and we need to adjust this, adjust that. Yeah, I'm non-stop kind of doing the creative stuff. Yeah.
Final one. Who are the best owners in the Premier League today?
Probably City Football Group. No?
Why?
I think as they kind of operate it, I know the players, they have a good feeling. Yeah, it seems like a stable, big ship. They're kind of quiet but present enough, but not too present. Respected enough. I think they've got a good model at the moment. But I'd say probably one of the best ownerships that I've been under was the owner of Leicester. Yeah.
Why?
Top. He was honestly proper.
Really?
Super nice guy, honestly. Absolutely, that club deserves a lot. The way he runs it, how personable he is.
What's going wrong at the moment? Because he gets a lot of heat from the fans.
Listen, I think the problem is in football is mediocrity. Mediocrity is the killer, right? So, and to be honest, people, I don't think hire more transparent as they should. I think they hire people that are going to protect them, and people stay in roles because they're good people. And if we go down, we need to stay in a job. So I think there needs more transparency from ownership down. That's what I would definitely see. And I think, probably when you get into that, friends hire friends. There's a family feel and a continuation of warmth you want in a football club. But it's a high performance industry. You have to be good at your job. And if your people you employ are not good enough, then I don't know why they always looking to blame the manager. Maybe sometimes it's more structurally.
Ryan, listen, thank you so much for this. This has been fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.